No, that one is good. It's supposed to be working on it. Bryce Adams, Zachariah Atterbury.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
What are we doing today here? What is today? This. So we said defendant's GPS is deactivated due to failure to pay or report. Okay, that's what we got here, dated November 22nd, 2 weeks ago, which is a mortal sin. Really? Really? I mean, so what is the status of, so what is the status of the device?
On my ankle still, it gets charged every night. This is the first of my knowledge that was deactivated.
It says to pay or report. I mean,
I didn't know it's for
that shouldn't be. Hold on. I mean, that's what the court notes are. He is behind. He owes $1,125. We're going to deactivate him for failure to make payments on his device. That was on 10/14. So it's going on now 2 months. You've been put on notice, sir. And it's, huh?
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What were you going to say?
Like I said, I haven't received a notice or anything.
You don't have to have a notice. You have to pay, and it says you're $1,125 behind.
Like I said,
is that right or wrong?
I don't know. Because
well, if you don't, that's not the right answer for someone who is obligated to make payments. I don't know. Is not. You ought to have records, and they need to be produced because your burden is to prove otherwise.
I think
it's not mine.
I think the clarification, Judge, is that the complainant in this case, I'm looking at the probable cause affidavit and the affidavit in the indictment, I think it's Sarah Edwards.
Okay.
Follow me. Sarah Edwards, to my understanding from talking to him, was paying all of the fees, and then she stopped paying the fees. So then he was in a situation where he couldn't afford it anymore. But she was.
That's the worst. That's the worst story I've heard.
No, this is just a true story. If I can
it might be true. But the victim, you were indicted. The victim, you think ought to be paying for your obligations on the GPS device. Am I correct in that thing?
That's what I want to tell you the whole story. The GPS device is from the misdemeanor charge that was before the felony. So to bond out on the misdemeanor charge before the felony,
I ordered a GPS device, didn't I?
And I already had one on when you ordered it.
Yeah, so it's ordered on behalf of me, too. You got 2 orders that you've got to follow.
And they let me out of jail because I already had one on. So I didn't have to sign for your order, or I didn't have to agree to anything because I've already had one.
You didn't have to agree to anything because my order obligates you. You don't have to. This isn't a contract,
I didn't know
buddy.
Who to go to. I didn't know who to go to.
You got a lawyer. You went to law school. Don't say
you're at the time of the GPS, but if making payment is fine, I can make retribution.
Will you do that as a favor for us?
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, Your Honor.
No, yeah, you are. You have an obligation as bond, and let me tell you what I do in all occasions like this. You go to jail. Now, good luck trying to figure that out. How you're going to pay for that? But what's his orders on my orders, please? No, an order is an order by the court, and I'm sure they wouldn't have sent this to me if I wouldn't have ordered it, but. And sent it to your attorney here back a few weeks ago.
And I didn't hear anything from my attorney, Your Honor, or I would have paid it. I can pay it full today.
Look, no. Here's the deal, too. No one needs to tell you have to pay or you're behind. You were told up front, and you made it. Is that what you do? Is you interrupt people all day long? I guess that's the environment you've found yourself in. Is you're the bully of the group. See, you keep saying that. You keep interrupting. You're the bully in the group. When the court talks, I get to talk first, and then you have a fair opportunity to answer. She has to take down everything that's said. When 2 people are speaking over each other, she can't do her job. And actually, the Supreme Court says she's really the most important person in this room, because if they don't have everything that's being heard, then they can't make rulings if there's an appeal of an issue. So let's do, but I'm not telling you anything that you and I didn't learn when we were 4 and 5 years old. And that's don't interrupt people when they're supposed to be talking. Okay. All right. So the
bond conditions are no contact or communication with the victim and must have a GPS monitoring device.
that's my bond conditions. What was the date on there?
He made bond on December 29th, 2023.
Yeah. When was my bond condition ordered?
It doesn't give a date, Judge, under the conditions. It's likely when we set the bond, probably
A long time ago.
probably when he was indicted is when we set the bond conditions.
So ignorance is not an excuse. You were told, you were ordered by this court, and your bondsman informed you. Your attorney also knows about it. So,
And like I say, Judge, I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but this way it happened is that Sarah's the component, and she stopped paying. Then after she stopped paying for things,
that's the silliest thing I ever heard. Your excuse to me for not paying the obligation, I didn't order Sarah, the complainant, the victim. I ordered you, the defendant. I really can't do much about or Sarah. She's not before me. You are. But I ordered you to the GPS device. And your explanation and excuse to me is that the victim in this case, who was not ordered by me, you were, the victim didn't pay for your obligation of the GPS device. So it's not your fault. Silliest thing I ever heard. This is like we're in 4th grade now. 3rd grade, 1st grade. This is foolish and silly, and it's irresponsible. And you are grown up. I know you've been around. You're 1990. So what are you in your 30s here? Yeah. So you're an adult. You've been an adult for half of your life. Well, this is a responsibility that is yours, an obligation that is yours. And Sarah Edwards, who you feel like this is, I hope this goes to trial so we can explain this to the jury, so that the jury listens to the person that the grand jury indicted you for hurting. And their grand jury states you intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly caused bodily injury by stabbing and cutting her about the head and body with scissors.
God damn! What the fuck is you on?
And that that person who is alleged to have been stabbed and cut by scissors and brings you before the court, your story to them is going to be like, I'm sure to me, that she's the one that should be paying the GPS device, not for me. And that's my excuse. She's paid it before for whatever reason.
I wonder why.
But I didn't order her. I ordered you. And the victim not paying for your responsibilities doesn't go 1 inch. It makes me angry. I think it would make any judge angry. But the court's orders are the court's orders. You failed to honor them. I can hold you in contempt, put you in jail for 180 days. Plus, when you get out, you're not going to get out until you have a GPS device that's paid for. God.
Can I just say?
Let me ask you this. You're 35 years of age. A personal question. Do you work? Are you employed?
I've actually been employed 2 jobs recently. At Williams Brothers Construction, driving end dump and belly dump trucks. My background came back with the pending charges and the GPS monitor. They had to let me go. as well as Martin Marietta. I worked there doing ready mix trucks for 3 weeks, and then that was hired on contingency. And then when I guess it was time for me to get my own truck, the background came back, and again the pending charges.
Okay. You might be surprised to know that the people on bond all have pending charges, criminal cases in this court. There's 5,000 of the people between this lady next door and me, the two criminal district judges. They never have this problem. And this is a first in my years as a judge and as a lawyer that you need to cut me some slack, Judge, because the victim was supposed to be paying for my GPS device that you ordered me to have, not me. It wasn't my obligation or my excuse for not paying it for the it's behind is that she didn't pay for it. Sorry, that doesn't work. What else?
Just to say, first I want to apologize for the interrupting. I'm just really nervous right now. Really been trying to get my life on track and do everything right. That's why I'm really scared to go to jail, because I am in the process of looking for a job and everything. As far as taking on the responsibilities, like you said, I'm sure you can tell by my past that I'm not too good at that. And right now,
I don't know much about your past, sir. Really, I don't. The indictment just says one thing. What you're charged with here is this.
You'd see my full arrest.
Hold on. With this.
No, bro.
Aggravated assault. I don't know what your arrest situation is, and quite frankly, I'm not really interested in it. I am interested in convictions because I'm funny about the presumption of innocence. I'm going to stand by that. You can be arrested, and period. But you've been charged here with now bond conditions, and these conditions have to be followed. And failure is not an option, and that's for everybody. Failure is not an option because the other alternative is sit it out in jail until we can resolve this. But here's another thing: is you're not supposed to even have contact with Sarah Edwards. Oh, but how do you work without any contact with her? How do you work her paying for your bills? How does that work?
Because I said I have a
Play like I don't have 3 degrees and a doctorate. Play like I don't have that. I don't understand how that works in your world.
I have a misdemeanor charge from before the felony charge against Sarah.
Yeah.
The misdemeanor charge
For what?
for a misdemeanor assault.
On whom?
Just another woman. So
Wait a second. Half the planet for women. And the way you talk about it is just another woman?
well, I didn't know that it was to be getting
I can't wait to see the jury that's impaneled in this case. You'll see a lot of ladies in the group and see their response for that statement. You know what? There's just no respect. You just don't have respect for others, much less women, ladies. My goodness. And the person who's the victim, you're blaming her for not paying. This is almost like a laugh-in movie. This is like a cartoon because you're in a parallel universe. All right, I've said enough. You have an obligation here. You hadn't paid.
And there's no way to make repercussions.
You got 72 hours.
I can make repercussions in less than 5.
Repercussions. I want responses, not repercussions. A response. There's 2 different words there.
Forgive me, Ron. Like I said, I'm really trying to change them.
So you got 72 hours. Can I say? You'll be back on.
And that was before the felony. So Sarah paid for the GPS on that case. So she had been paying for it from then before her case.
Sir, I don't care about this case. I've ordered you. I have ordered you a GPS on this case. Now, if you want to use a GPS for both of them, that's fine. But you don't have to have 2 GPSs.
Right.
But you have to have one. And
That's fine.
this one, you interrupt one more time, and you don't get 72 hours, Mr. Interrupter. I can see you're a bully. You really are. You're a bully. And here's the deal. It's girls. It's girls that you pick on. Mr. Man, gentlemen. Let's see. Hope here and Sarah here are the two victims. And then Sarah's supposed to be paying for your GPS device. It's her fault, not yours. 72 hours. And I don't want Sarah paying for it. You have to pay for it. Because I'm going to talk to the bondsman, and I expect Sarah, and we'll have Sarah up here if I have to. And I'll talk to her about it. But you're not going to be pressuring. Yeah, you're supposed to contact this woman. I find out you contacted her. You'll sit, whatever device, you can sit in jail with all the GPS devices you can put on you, and you'll sit in jail until this thing gets disposed of. So, see, you charged her with one female, with one lady, causing bodily injury to Hope here by. I guess that's pushing it. It's a misspelled word. And headbutting the victim at the time of the. Y'all had a dating relationship. What kind of intimate love relationship involves headbutting? I'm not familiar with that. I've never tried that with my wife. You think it's funny? It's not. It's indecent. It's not proper for a handle a lady. And then the other one here is you stabbed and cut Sarah with the head and body with scissors. And then Sarah, it's her fault that you're not paying, that you don't have. Well, it just makes me angry to read this.
Yes, Your
Does
Honor.
it to you?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would.
I mean, there's no sensibility here. You're standing there and want me to feel sorry for you? Well, I don't.
And Your Honor, the state would just request that the defendant's bond be increased to protect the victim in this case because she was paying.
What's her bond? What's his bond now, please? I don't want her paying that bond. And I'm going to have her in here to make sure she does it, my God, because I know what's going on in the environment that's out there. When you're on bond, I'm sure you're pressuring the poor ladies, both of them. Yeah, I'm sure that's.
The bond is $50,000.
Yeah. I've been railing on you. I'm saying it's hard to say this. I know it's hard. Your attorney is a fine lawyer, and we're all stunned by your what comes out of your mouth and the way you think. You're in a parallel universe with the rest of this planet by yourself, because I've never seen thinking or had to deal with thinking like this. But I'm going to protect that lady. But you don't have a GPS device on right now, do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've never taken it. It's never been off since it was initially ordered from the misdemeanor.
Okay. But I'm going to tell the bondsman they can get off your GPS device. You're going to have to go to somebody else. But they can get off. They're not, if it hadn't been paid for, then that's an obligation, and then they have to deal with me because they're supposed to follow my orders. But if it hadn't been paid timely, then I'm going to tell them get rid of it, take it off. And I want to know. I want to know with the bondsman, and I'll call the bondsman and talk to them. I want to know what the source of that money is. I find out you're getting the money from any victim. Heck would pay. Do you understand? Just look around you, and nobody is on your side on this one. Nobody. You're on your own because you're not thinking right. I want a hearing on Friday to see where we are, and I'm going to talk to the bondsman and see where we are. But you don't have it paid for. I'm ordering it pulled until you pay up front. And I find out that these ladies are paying because of you, Mr. Bully, and that. Can you imagine going to trial with this? This thing's headed for trial. That's what I guess I've said it for trial. And then the district attorney brings this up. which he could because it's part of your character. And I can guarantee you that that jury is at least 50% females. But no man is sympathetic with you in this situation. No, a decent guy, no decent man. Shame on you. I can't even say that enough, but you're just not thinking about it. There's no way to treat anybody, much less someone you claim you have an intimate relationship with or intimacy with. My goodness, been married 40 years. I can't even imagine thinking that, even thinking such a thing, much less acting it out like you're playing around with. Get a resetting. You don't have contact with this lady, my watch, who's the victim.
No, I've never talked to her.
I don't care. I'm repeating an order that you don't seem to think about.
Music to my ear. Hey, yo, drop a comment and shut the door on your way out.